Coach, just kind of want your thoughts on Gulbranton's performance, and was there any point during the game where you guys thought about maybe making a switch at quarterback, or just talk about that aspect of the game?
Yeah. No, we did not talk about any switch. Hey, listen, I'm not going to make any quick judgment on this. I've been around too long to understand that quarterback play is the byproduct of a lot of things, and we need to. The protection needs to be better. We need to coach better, and yeah, we need to make a few throws as well. So, but we need to go back and look at the tape. We need to go back and look at the tape.
Yes?
Chris Milton, Associated Press. What was it about BYU's defense that really struggled in your run game today?
I give them credit. We knew they had a lot of pressures, a lot of run pressures aimed at stopping the run game. And, obviously with what we did against Hawaii, the way we ran the ball, figured that they would kind of come in with their game plan being to make us beat them throwing the football. I mean, that's what I was assuming that they were coming in thinking. And so they did a good job in the run game. We got to be better there. If we're going to be a successful team, and for us to win games, we have to have a balanced offense. And so, we'll make the improvements there.
Ben Criddle?
ESPN Radio. What happened to the second half offensively? You able to move the ball a little bit better, more effective in the pass game as well?
Yeah, it was. There were some encouraging things in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter. The protection was better. Made a few plays down the field. We were able to push the ball down the field and get a little rhythm and a little confidence. So that's certainly, there's nothing fun or good about losing, but you do take away the positive as an offense that we kept fighting, and made some plays in the fourth quarter.
Ben Parker?
Yeah, just talk about the defense, what you guys did well. A lot of times you guys were able to hold in the field goal and prevent touchdowns. Talk about what you guys got on the defensive side, though.
The defense played unbelievable in my mind. They gave us every opportunity to be in that game, to win that game, and that, early on, the game could have been a whole lot different. So really a lot of credit to the defense. And those turnovers, for them to turn those turnovers into field goals was great defensive play. So good job by our players and coaches. And holding that team down, really the whole game. When you consider how we struggled on offense to hold them to 27 points and given the turnovers and the whole situation, really happy with how the defense played.
How did you feel about your defense, particularly on Bear Bachman?
I thought, Bear's a good player. Bear made some nice plays today. He's a very talented player. Like Bear, wish him the best. And, I thought he did some good things today.
Jackson Payne, Deseret News. What were your impressions of this atmosphere in BYU and just the team that you faced and the program that Collins Hockey has?
Yeah, this is a taste of college football for me. This is a pretty cool atmosphere. I was standing out on the field talking to a couple of the coaches beforehand, man, how close this, how small the sidelines were. And, it's a great atmosphere. It was a lot of fun, as far as experiencing that as a college coach. But as I said, in this business, it all comes down to how you play and did you win or lose. And so unfortunately, that did not go as we wanted to do.
Jasmine Pipinga, KSL Sports. You helped lead the Buffalo Bills to one of the biggest comebacks. What lessons from that part of your career are you applying to the Stanford team and bringing this program back to relevancy?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's it. It's one play at a time. It doesn't take much. It takes a belief. It needs to start with a belief in who you are and what we're doing, and then you just got to execute one play at a time, one first down at a time, one touchdown at a time. That's the mentality, and we talked about it in there. Hey, we're never going to be okay with losing. We're here to get better and to win, and so I'm excited to go back to work this week. It's hard. You put so much into it week to week, and it's hard to fly home on a trip where you lose a game like this. But I believe in this team. I love these players. They're a special group, and they're going to continue to fight, and we'll get better. And I look forward to a great week this week.
The All-22 will showcase, some of the individual performances that were really nice. But anything that stood out to you from your team, any individuals that really competed well tonight?
That's a great question. I'm always hesitant. I think you can probably appreciate that, but I do appreciate the question. I'm always hesitant to start doing that. Obviously, we had a fourth down stop. The sacks are always, big plays. When they're down in the red zone, the playmaking in the red zone to force them to kick field goals are real highlights, I think, that stick out.
you were complimentary pregame of the defensive scheme of BYU. Did they showcase similar, same schematics?
Yeah, they did. And, you know, a lot of it was that they're just good execution by them. I mean, there was stuff, I'll have to see it on the film. I don't know, I don't think there was anything that we hadn't practiced against and weren't ready for. You know, we just needed to execute better a few times. And they make you work, you know. They make you work in protection. They're going to bring four to a side, and they're going to go from different fronts, and they're going to shift and do it from different groups. And, you know, so I really thought we'd do a better job. I really did. I thought we had a good week of practice against it. Got a lot of reps, you know, having the bye coming into it. So I was a little bit surprised by that.
Any other questions in the room?
Yeah, just kind of for me, just it's like in the fourth quarter, Go Bryant to start to find a bit of a rhythm, making some throws, some tough throws, catches. Just talk about what changed offensively a little bit for you guys to kind of get a little bit of a flow in that.
Yeah, I was happy for Ben. Listen, I know what it's like to be out there and struggling at the quarterback position, and you know you take the weight of the world on yourself. You know, everybody starts with the quarterback, and so the pressure. You know, he feels that pressure. So, and just personally, I was happy for Ben. You know, that he finished strong the way he did, and I just think that was important for him, for the team. And so, yeah, I mean, he works real hard at it. He works real hard, and he's a talented guy. And, you know, we as a team and as an offense just have to do a better job together, you know, to be more efficient and consistent during the whole game.
From a talent standpoint, did you feel like you guys matched up? You know your personnel, you look at the personnel of BYU. I feel like you guys matched up well personnel-wise?
Yes. You know, I believe in our guys. I mean, we you know, and I think you could see that out there at times. You know, this game was not their players are better. This was they executed better. They executed better. So I give them credit. You know, it's a seasoned team. You know, an experienced team, an experienced coaching staff. Have good schemes. It's a good program. It's a tough environment to come in and play, and that's what we love. You know, you love an opportunity to come in and play in those moments and have a big upset. You know what I mean? And I think we all thought that was going to happen today, but give BYU credit for the way they played.
We're going to take two questions on Zoom. Luca?
Hey Coach, yeah, just two quick questions. Luca Mazy with Stanford on this side. So first of all, tune out to hear, obviously you got some good minutes late in the game today. Can you kind of just talk about what you got out of him?
Yeah, Tuna's explosive and, you know, real smart player. He's good in pass protection and, you know, and I thought he looked particularly good this week in practice. You know, he's been fighting a little shoulder injury, and so glad that he's feeling better and glad he was able to get in the game there late and, you know, show what he was doing in practice.
Yeah, and then second of all, Chase Roberts from BYU is obviously, you know, a dynamic wide receiver. So coming into the week, what was your kind of game plan to stop a guy like that?
Well, you know, we know you're going to try to get him in space and get him touches, and he's a dynamic player. So you got to run and hit. You know, first of all, with players like that, you got to make it a physical game. They're going to get their plays. You know, he's going to get his plays. You know, so you just have to make him pay and be physical with it, and you know, and then try to limit it. You know, get people running to the ball. So you know, be really good in space to kind of contain him that way with population to the ball. And minimize the big plays that way.
Any other questions for Coach?
You mentioned the atmosphere, college atmosphere. This is a unique one. Does being around the youth and outside of the NFL reinvigorate you a little bit as a coach and getting back to maybe an internal why of maybe why you got into coaching in the first place?
There's no doubt. I've said that from day one. You know, being on the campus at Stanford, being as a special university, a special place, special culture. And in particular, the football team, those players, those student-athlete players there are a special group of young men. So it's a real honor and privilege to be able to coach them and, you know, and have this experience. So, you know, we're going to keep fighting to get better. And, you know, we want this experience to include a lot of wins. And so we're going to keep fighting to that end.
Did you notice NFL talent on the opposite side of the ball in your prep and during this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's... I do think, you know, without naming names, you know, I think there's players that are going to play in the NFL on both teams, and you know, I think there will be players that play in the NFL on both teams, and it's a long season, and you know, for those who can do that, they got to show that they can do it week in and week out. So That's what it comes down to.
We can take one more question for Coach.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, what's your prep like for next week? Like, obviously flying back tomorrow or tonight, but just what's your kind of prep for Sunday, Monday going into next week?
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. You know, this will be our first kind of, I mean, we get back late at 4 o'clock or something like that, but, you know, we'll still have a normal week. You know, players will come in tomorrow afternoon. You know, we'll go through the film like we normally do. And that's a good thing about our routine is win, lose, or draw, we got the same routine. I mean, that's the way programs have to do it. So we'll come in, look at the film, make the corrections, talk about ways we can get better than the players, you know, can get out of there. Coaches are, you know, on to game planning against BC. And then the players have off on Monday. And again, coaches will be hard at work game planning, you know, all day Monday. And then Tuesday we're back to work on the practice field, you know. And we'll see how, you know, because we get back late, we'll see how we came out of this game physically, you know, to see if we have to make any adjustments to the practice schedule. I don't think we will. I hope we don't have to. It's still early in the season, but that'll be the routine.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.